It's hard to imagine many jobs as unpleasant as dealing with scrap tires. Most fleets store their scrap tires somewhere behind their maintenance shop. The tires often settle in a low-lying area where they collect water, mold, mildew, and eventually mosquitoes. Instead of looking at the pile as a nuisance, look at it for the knowledge that your company can gain by inspecting each tire carefully. A basic understanding of why a tire found its way to your scrap pile can help you improve your maintenance program and may help you lower your overall tire costs. Your scrap tires can tell you some good stories about what is right, and perhaps more importantly, what is wrong with your tire program, and can help guide you in making choices about driver training and fleet maintenance procedures. Since tires can be dirty, particularly ones that have been sitting for some time, be sure to wear an old pair of jeans or coveralls and leather gloves to protect your hands. You'll want to make sure you have at least one large awl available for digging into cuts, nail holes, and loose belts. Some other useful tools to have on hand include long-nosed pliers, a flashlight or shop light, tire crayon, and tread depth gauge. Before diving into a pile of tires, you'll need a spreadsheet to record your findings. Download this spreadsheet from our website or create your own using the following headings: tire brand, tire type, new tire date code, number of retreads, tread depth, last retread date code, and reason for removal. Scrap tire analysis might tell you which tire brand or type can work better for your fleet's driving conditions and road surfaces. Over time, the data on your spreadsheet should begin to indicate some definite trends. Tire identification numbers are codes that identify the manufacturing location, the tire size, along with the week and year the tire was manufactured. Since 2000, the week and year the tire was produced has been identified by the last 4 digits of the new tire DOT code, with the first 2 digits being used to identify the week and the last 2 digits used to identify the year. For tires manufactured before 2000, the week and year the tire was produced is contained in the last 3 digits of the new tire DOT. The first 2 digits are used to identify the week a tire was manufactured, immediately followed by a single digit that is used to identify the year. The number of retread codes on your tire tells you how many times the tire has been retreaded. You may find that some tire brands or models within a particular brand lend themselves better to the retreading process. Be sure to gather lots of data on hundreds of tires before you draw these conclusions. Ideally, tires in a scrap pile should be worn down to the tread depth that has been designated as the pull depth for steer, drive, and trailer tires. This depth should be fairly consistent around and across the tire. Often, when some sort of irregular wear pattern has happened, tread depth measurements can be vastly different depending on where you measure. Always measure at the shallowest point in a major tread groove. This allows you to see trends among prematurely wearing tires and, over time, may help you extend your average tire mileage. If retreading is part of your tire program, and it should be, you'll be happy to see 3 or 4 retread date codes branded on the sidewall of your tires. Each time a retreader puts a new tread on one of your tires, a retreader ID code and the week and year of the retreading is branded on the tire. If you find an issue with a repair, retread materials, or workmanship, you can trace the problem back to the source. Why is this tire sitting in the scrap pile? If a tire is worn evenly down to 2/32, has multiple retreads, and no holes in it, give it a pat on the tread. This tire delivered lots of original miles and many more as a retread, but not every tire can make that claim. Through normal usage, all tires will eventually become scrap, and some of these tires will have sad stories to tell. Determining what these stories are can be a challenge even for the most seasoned tire professionals. The Radial Tire Conditions Analysis Guide, available from the ATA's Technology and Maintenance Council, may be able to help. This book contains more than 200 color photographs and detailed descriptions of tire service conditions for both original and retreaded tires. Let's take a look at some tires from our scrap pile. What we are going to show are just a few examples of common issues and their probable causes you may be seeing when looking through your scrap pile. So, here we have some tires from a typical scrap pile. Let's take a look at each one, see what we can learn, and maybe save ourselves some time and trouble somewhere down the road with similar situations. First tire has some obvious damage in the upper shoulder of the tire, probably caused by the vehicle that it was on having a mud flap or a mud flap bracket that was hitting the tire and creating some damage. So you might want to take a look at the vehicle that this tire came from, make sure the same thing isn't happening to the tire that replaced it. In this case, it looks like this tire may not be scrap, so we might want to take a closer look at it and see if it might be able to be retreaded and put back into service. This tire has a foreign object embedded right into the tread. We've checked it, it goes all the way through, so this is a ruined tire. Now this could happen most anywhere, but you want to make sure that it's not happening on your own yards or on your own property. So make sure you have a clean area where trucks can be parked, where trailers can be parked, and maybe you can avoid some of these situations in the future. This tire has an impact break right in the sidewall. Probably happened when the trailer ran up over a curb when the driver was making a sharp turn. So next driver meeting, when you're talking about safety, when you're talking about training, you might want to go over with your drivers how to make proper turns so that they don't run over the curb and ruin a tire like this. Finally, we have a tire with a brake skid. Usually if you have one of these, you're going to find about either 4 or 8 of them in your scrap pile that look pretty much the same. This is a situation where a driver had to lock up the brakes to make an emergency stop. Once again, at the driver training meetings that you have in the future, talk about looking ahead, trying to avoid situations where you have to make an emergency stop and can create a problem like this for the tires. The tires in your fleet are valuable assets to your operation. Rustling them around in a scrap pile may be hard work, but the information it can reveal will give you subject matter for future meetings with your technicians and drivers and may help you save a lot of money in the long run. A scrap tire analysis gives you information for choosing tires with the proper tread designs and the right retreads for your fleet operation. A good scrap tire analysis program can also help you avoid past mistakes and can potentially result in reducing future tire costs. If you have any questions concerning what you have found when searching through your scrap tire pile, contact your local Goodyear commercial tire dealer or go to our website for additional information and suggestions.